My wife slapped me to humiliate me before friends and her lover, whose tooth I knocked out. I never thought the end of my marriage would start with the sharp sting of a slap in front of 20 people, some I considered friends, others I barely knew, and one smug bastard who would soon be missing a tooth. It happened on a Friday night. We were at Ethan's house. My wife Julia insisted we attend his birthday bash. It was supposed to be a casual get-together, some drinks, small talk, maybe karaoke. I hadn't wanted to go. Work had drained me all week, and honestly, something about Julia had been off. Cold. Too excited to get dressed up for what she called just a chill night. She spent 2 hours getting ready, changed 3 times, and walked out of the bedroom in a short red dress she hadn't worn in years. The kind that clung to every curve and screamed, "I want attention." I remember asking, half-jokingly, trying to seduce Ethan or me? She shot me a glare. "Don't be insecure. Maybe try dressing like you're alive for once." I should have known. At the party, she disappeared 5 minutes in. I was stuck with Jason and his wife, sipping warm beer, pretending to care about their dog's kidney problems. My eyes kept searching for her. Then I spotted her, near the back patio, whispering to some guy I didn't recognize. He looked like a gym rat. Tight shirt, flashy watch, that kind of dumb confidence that came with doing curls and reading zero books. Julia leaned in close to him, laughed a little too loud, touched his arm a little too long. My gut twisted. I approached. "Julia," I said, forcing a smile. "Aren't you going to introduce me?" She barely turned. "Oh, right. This is Brad. We work out together." Brad smirked and extended his hand like he was the one doing me a favor. "We've been sweating it out all month," he said. "Your wife is a beast in the gym." "A beast?" I shook his hand and squeezed a little too tight. "Glad to hear it." Julia rolled her eyes. "Jesus, can you not be weird for 5 minutes?" That's when I knew. I didn't need texts or photos. I didn't need to follow her. I saw it all in her body language. The familiarity, the flirtation, the thrill. She was cheating. I tried to stay calm. I walked away. I needed a breather. But 10 minutes later, I found them again. This time in the kitchen, her hand on his chest, his finger brushing her jaw. My blood boiled. "Julia," I said, loud enough for the room to hear, "can I talk to you?" "Now." She turned slowly, like I was just another nuisance. "Not now. We're having a conversation. You're my wife. We need to talk." Then she did it. She walked up to me, smiled sweetly, and slapped me across the face. Hard. A stunned silence fell over the room. "Don't you ever embarrass me like this again," she hissed. Brad stood behind her, grinning like a jackal. Someone laughed. Someone else gasped. I didn't think. I acted. I lunged past Julia and smashed my fist into Brad's mouth. I felt his tooth crack against my knuckle. He collapsed onto the counter, groaning, blood pouring from his lips. Chaos. Julia screamed. People grabbed me. Someone shouted to call the cops. Brad was moaning, holding his face. I didn't care. I didn't even blink. I turned to Julia. "You think humiliating me in front of everyone makes you powerful? You just made yourself look like trash in front of half the city." She didn't respond. Just stood there, panting, mascara starting to smear, shaking with rage or shame. I couldn't tell. I walked out. Left the party. Drove in silence. I didn't go home. I couldn't. Not yet. That slap was more than an insult. It was a declaration. A message. I don't respect you anymore. I've found better. You're nothing to me now. But she had no idea who she was messing with. Because the next time we talked, it wouldn't be about saving the marriage. It would be about ending it. And she'd learned just how cold I could be. I didn't sleep that night. I parked outside an old diner on the edge of town, stared at the neon lights buzzing through the windshield, and tried to piece together what the hell had just happened. My face still burned where she slapped me. My knuckles were raw. I could feel the skin tearing every time I flexed my hand, but I welcomed the pain. It was real. Honest. Not like the lie I'd been living in for months. Every second played back in my mind like some cruel movie, her laugh, the way she looked at him, the smug smile on that punk's face, and that slap. That damn slap. Who does that to their husband? Who humiliates the person who stood beside them through everything? And for what? A gym hookup with a dude who uses more hair gel than brains? I called my brother around 3 a.m. I needed someone, anyone, who wouldn't gaslight me. He answered half asleep. "You all right, man?" "No," I said. "She hit me. In front of people. Then I hit the guy she's been screwing. I think she's been cheating for a while." Silence. "Where are you?" he asked. "By Frank's diner." "Just sitting." He sighed. Come crash at my place. Don't go back home tonight. I did. And when I walked into his apartment, the look on his face told me everything. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. I was betrayed. The next morning, I returned home. Quiet. Focused. Like a soldier on recon. She wasn't there. But her purse was. And her laptop. I sat on the couch, opened it, and began searching. Passwords? Please. She once told me she didn't believe in privacy between couples. So I checked the email. Messages to someone named Brandon W. Not Brad. Brandon. That's why I couldn't find him online last time I had suspicions. She changed his name in her contacts. I opened the messages. Last night was crazy. I can still feel you on my thighs. I wish I could stay tangled with you forever. Ethan's party is perfect timing. He's so stupid, he won't even notice. Let's humiliate him a bit. Just for fun. That last one broke me. Fun? I was a joke to her. A prop in her private soap opera. Something to spit on while she played the hot villain with her dumb side piece. I kept reading. Dozens of messages. Photos. Audio clips. Videos. She wasn't just cheating. She was flaunting it. Bragging to her friends. Even her sister knew. They laughed about me behind my back. At that moment, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at the screen and let the numbness crawl over me like ice water. The woman I built a life with, the one I sacrificed for, worked overtime for, held when her dad died, celebrated anniversaries with, was gone. Replaced by some cold, manipulative shell who took pleasure in my humiliation. She walked in 2 hours later like nothing happened. Sunglasses on. Coffee in hand. "Oh, you're home," she said flatly. "Did you sleep somewhere like a little drama queen?" I didn't answer. Just turned the laptop toward her, the screen still glowing with her filth. She froze. Her lips twitched. "Go ahead," I said. "Tell me that's photoshopped. Or that it's old. Or that you were hacked. I'm curious which lie you'll pick this time." She didn't even flinch. Instead, she scoffed. "So you finally grew a spine and checked. Took you long enough." I stood. My voice was calm. "How long?" She sipped her coffee. "Few months. Maybe more." "Why?" She shrugged. "Because I was bored. Because you're boring. Because Brandon, knows how to make me feel alive. You haven't touched me like a man in a year. You come home, eat, sleep, and complain about your job. That's not a husband. That's a routine." I stared at her. "And that gives you the right to treat me like trash?" "No," she said with a smirk. "That gives me the right to find someone who makes me feel like a woman again." I saw red. My fists clenched. But I didn't hit her. I wasn't like her. I had limits. I walked past her, opened the hall closet, grabbed the suitcase, and began packing. She watched, amused. "You're really doing this? Dramatic exit?" I zipped the suitcase. "No. I'm doing the only sane thing left. Leaving you before I turn into something I'll regret." "Where will you go?" she asked, still playing it cool. "To peace." She laughed. "You'll come crawling back. You always do." But this time, she was wrong. Because once a woman decides you're beneath her, the only thing left to do is rise without her. I stayed at my brother's place for a week. The first few nights, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face. That smirk. That slap. The messages. My mind kept replaying the humiliation like some sick highlight reel. Her voice echoed in my head. "You haven't touched me like a man in a year." I'd touch fire before I ever touched her again. My brother, Kyle, didn't say much. Just let me be. He handed me beers, ordered food, sat in silence while we watched reruns of old shows. He never asked for the details, but I think he knew enough. He saw the way I'd stare off, jaw tight, fingers twitching like they wanted to break something. By day 5, I stopped flinching when I heard her name. By day 7, I decided I needed closure not for her, but for me. So I went back. Not to beg. Not to talk. To gather everything that was mine and make it very, very clear that this part of my life was over. When I stepped into the house, I half expected her to be waiting. Maybe with crocodile tears. Maybe with another slap. But she wasn't even there. Just her perfume lingering in the hallway like a ghost. I packed with machine-like precision. Clothes. Watch. Files. Passport. My guitar. The little blue box where I kept the anniversary letters, the ones I wrote and she never read. I took one last walk through the house. Our bedroom. The kitchen. The porch where we used to sit on warm nights and talk about nothing. That life was a memory now. As I reached for the last drawer, I found a folded note addressed to me. Her handwriting. I should have burned it. But I opened it. If you're reading this, I guess you finally decided to leave. Maybe you expected me to beg. But the truth is, we were over a long time ago. You just didn't see it. You're a good guy, but good gets boring. You were never dangerous, never exciting. Brandon may not be perfect, but at least he makes me feel something. I hope you find someone who fits your little safe world. I never did. I laughed. Out loud. Not because it was funny. Because it was pathetic. A final little stab from a woman who couldn't even face me with truth, only cheap paper and ink. I tore it in half and dropped it into the trash with the same care she gave our marriage, none. On my way out, I bumped into her. Literally. She pulled up in Brandon's car. His busted lip still healing, judging by the bandage taped to his smug face. She wore sunglasses again. Always hiding. Always trying to act above it all. Oh look, she said. The runaway returns. I didn't answer. She crossed her arms. You done with your tantrum? I stepped closer. This isn't a tantrum, Julia. This is the last time you'll ever speak to me like I'm beneath you. Brandon chuckled. You hitting people again, tough guy? I stared at him. You still talking with only 31 teeth? His smile faded. Let's go inside, babe, she told him. He's not worth it. He followed, still bleeding ego. But before she could turn away, I leaned in. You didn't break me, Julia. You freed me. She paused, just for a second. Like maybe part of her didn't expect that. Like maybe she thought I'd still be crying. But I wasn't. I walked away. No screaming. No tears. Just silence. And freedom. Back at Kyle's, I called a lawyer. Divorce proceedings started that week. Clean split. No kids. No shared debt. No house drama. I made sure of that early in the marriage. She thought I was controlling. I called it smart. She didn't fight it. Probably thought she was winning. Let her think that. But the real win? Was waking up without her poison in my life. No more lies. No more masks. No more slaps. Just me. Picking up the pieces. And for the first time in years, breathing. The divorce moved fast. Too fast, honestly. Like she wanted it all gone and erased before her next Instagram story went up. Within 3 weeks, we had a date to sign everything. My lawyer said it was the smoothest uncontested split he'd ever seen. Almost like she couldn't wait to get rid of you, he joked. I didn't laugh. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the ease with which she moved on. Like none of it had ever meant anything. 5 years. Gone. Traded for a sweaty guy named Brandon with half a brain and a crooked smile. But what got me the most was how she kept acting like I was the villain. She started posting these passive-aggressive quotes online. You know the type, sometimes you have to let go of toxic people to grow, and strong women don't explain themselves to small men. Small men? I paid for her mother's hospital bills when her insurance denied the surgery. I covered her student loans before they went to collections. I bought her first car. Held her hand through panic attacks. Sat through every boring dinner with her dead-eyed cousins and smiled through all of it. But sure, I was the small one. The day we signed the divorce papers, she walked in looking like she was attending a fashion show. Tight black skirt, heels too high for a legal office, red lipstick like she wanted to remind me what she thought I lost. She didn't even sit next to me. Just breezed past with her sunglasses on inside the damn building and took a chair on the opposite side. The lawyer read everything out loud, asked us to confirm. She didn't blink, just nodded like it was a contract for a gym membership. And when it was done, she stood, grabbed her bag, and said, "Well, that was easier than I thought." Then she looked at me and added, "Guess you finally learned how to let go." I wanted to say so many things. I wanted to tell her she was a coward, a manipulator, a leech who sucked out the best parts of me and discarded what was left when it didn't shine enough anymore. But I just smiled. "You were never that hard to let go of," I said. It just took me a while to see it. For the first time in weeks, her face cracked. She didn't have a comeback. I left her standing there, heels wobbling slightly, mask slipping. And I never looked back. But it wasn't over. 2 days later, she called me. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. Then a text, "Can we talk? Please." It's not what I thought it would be. I stared at the screen for a long time. She wanted to talk? No? When the fun was drying up. When reality started creeping in. When Brandon stopped being the exciting fling and started being just another average guy with bad jokes and nothing in his fridge. I didn't reply. She sent another. I messed up. I know that now. I didn't realize what I had. That one made me laugh. Out loud. In the middle of my apartment, surrounded by moving boxes and silence. It was the first real laugh I'd had in months. She realized? Good for her. But some realizations come too late. She sent a final one that night. I miss you. I looked at it. Thought about all the nights I sat in our bedroom wondering why she didn't touch me anymore. Why her kisses felt like chores. Why she always kept her phone face down. I remember the slap. The party. Brandon's smug face. The way she smirked after humiliating me like I was some sad dog sniffing around for scraps. I blocked her number. Not out of anger, but because I finally understood something. You don't have to burn bridges when the other person already set your whole world on fire. All you have to do is walk away. 3 months passed. Enough time for the dust to settle. Enough time for me to rebuild parts of myself I didn't even know she had broken. I moved into a new apartment downtown, smaller, quieter, mine. I bought a used couch, a coffee maker that didn't leak, and started cooking again. At first, I thought it would feel like survival. But it turned out to be something better. Control. Peace. There was no yelling, no tension when a phone buzzed, no cold shoulder across the bed. Just space. Just me. People kept asking questions. Coworkers, what happened with Julia? Friends, you sure you're okay? My mother, bless her, still believed there was hope. Sweetheart, maybe she just got confused. People make mistakes. I wanted to tell her everything. The slap. The affair. The lies. The way Julia looked me in the eye and told me I was boring after I gave her the best years of my life. But I didn't. I just said, "It's over, Mom." Let her believe in fairy tales. I was done pretending. One Saturday morning, I walked into the gym I used to avoid, ironically, the same place where Julia met Brandon. I didn't go to see them, if that's what you're thinking. I went because my body had turned into a metaphor for everything she left behind. Weak, neglected, tired. I needed to feel strong again. Not just in my arms, but in my spine. I threw myself into it. Weights. Cardio. Discipline. Not to look better, but to feel better. Like I was taking back every ounce of power she stole with every condescending word and fake smile. Funny thing happened after that. I started getting noticed. Not just by women, though yeah, some of them did look. But by me. I saw myself again. Not the tired version. Not the husband trying to fix a woman who didn't want fixing. Just me. A man with fire still left in him. Then one afternoon, I saw her. Julia. At the same grocery store we used to shop together in. She was in the frozen aisle, struggling to push a cart with a squeaky wheel. Alone. No Brandon. No fancy makeup. No smug attitude. Our eyes met. She blinked. I nodded. She walked up slowly, as if unsure whether she should even try. Hey, she said. Hey. She looked thinner. Not gym thin. Hollow thin. Like life had taken a bite out of her. Her voice didn't have the bite it used to. It was softer. Worn. You look good, she said. I gave her a polite smile. Thanks. There was a pause. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, an old nervous habit. I heard you blocked my number. I did. She gave a quick, awkward laugh. Guess I deserved that. I stayed quiet. I moved out of Brandon's place, she said, almost as if hoping I'd ask why. I didn't. It wasn't what I thought it would be. There it was again. That line. She kept using it like it excused everything. Like realizing the grass wasn't greener made up for how she pissed on mine. I'm not here to make a scene, she added quickly. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I looked at her. Really looked. She was still beautiful. Still the same woman I once held under 1,000 different skies. But now I saw the truth beneath it all. The rot. The selfishness. The way she broke things and called it a new chapter. You weren't sorry when it mattered, I said. You slapped me in front of people, Julia. You humiliated me for fun. And now that it's quiet, now that you're alone, you're sorry. She looked down. I was stupid. I thought I wanted something wild. Something exciting. And now I'd give anything to go back. But I know it's too late. It was. And she knew it. She stepped back. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Take care of yourself. She turned to walk away. Julia, I called out. She stopped. Next time you're bored, try a new book. Not someone's life. She didn't reply. Just nodded slowly and walked off into the noise of the supermarket. And me? I picked up a steak, paid in cash, and went home. Alone. At peace. Life had a strange stillness after that day. Like the final page of a book had turned, and instead of rushing into a new chapter, I just sat there. Let the silence stretch out. Let it breathe. I stopped checking her social media. Actually deleted the app altogether. I didn't care what she posted, who she was with, what inspirational garbage she quoted. Let her rewrite the story however she needed to sleep at night. I was too busy living mine. I picked up new habits. Running in the mornings. Journaling. Drinking black coffee on the balcony while the sun came up. The kind of stuff I once thought only lonely people did, but now I realized it was exactly what I needed, space to listen to my own damn thoughts without anyone twisting them into something ugly. A few weeks later, Kyle and I hit a bar downtown. Nothing crazy. Just two brothers, a couple beers, and a much-needed break from the quiet. That's when I met Emily. She wasn't flashy. No designer bag. No filters. Just a green sweater, messy bun, and this look in her eyes like she saw the whole world at once and didn't care if it liked her back. She laughed easily. Talked straight. And when I said I was divorced, she didn't flinch. She asked me one question. Did it break you or build you? I blinked. Both, I said. But the second part came later. We talked for hours. About music, books, the weird dreams people never say out loud. I didn't try to impress her. I didn't feel like I had to prove I'd survived the wreckage. I just existed, and she seemed okay with that. We went out again. And again. She didn't ask about Julia much. Just listened the one time I brought it up. She was poison, I told her. Beautiful, intoxicating, sweet on the tongue, but poison all the same. Emily nodded. And you? You still healing? Every day. She smiled. Then you're already ahead of most. That stuck with me. For the first time, I realized I wasn't just getting over Julia. I was getting back to myself. Piece by piece. And yeah, the scars were still there. I'd never forget the slap. The betrayal. The look in her eyes when she hurt me and didn't even blink. But those things stopped owning me. They became history, not identity. One night, I got a letter. No return address. Inside was a photograph, me and Julia at our wedding, smiling like fools, and a note. You'll always be my greatest mistake. I hope you find something real. I tore it in half. Not out of anger. Not out of bitterness. But because it didn't matter anymore. She could keep her regrets. I was done carrying them. I'd lived through hell in a red dress. Now I was walking towards something better. Not perfect. Not flashy. Just real. And that was enough. Summer came fast that year. Funny how time bends when you're finally living again. Weeks pass like days, and the ghosts that used to haunt your mornings start to lose their shape. Emily and I spent those warm months doing nothing that looked like a movie and everything that felt real. Road trips with no destination. Late-night grocery runs where we danced in the aisles like no one was watching. Bird dinners that turned into pizza on the floor. It was messy and unpredictable, but never once did I feel like I was holding my breath. I didn't need her to complete me. I wasn't broken anymore. I needed someone who walked beside me, not over me. And that's exactly what she did. One night, we sat on my balcony as the sun dipped behind the skyline. Emily was sipping wine, her legs tucked under her, looking at me like she already knew what I was about to say. You ever think about how close you came to wasting your whole life? I asked. She didn't blink. You didn't waste it. You survived it. I smiled. Yeah, but damn, I stayed too long in a place I should have run from. You were loyal, she said. That's not weakness. It just wasn't deserved. I looked at her for a long time. The kind of look you give when you realize this person in front of you isn't trying to fix you. They just see you, as is. No renovation required. She reached over and ran her thumb along my knuckles, the same hand that broke Brandon's tooth. The same hand that once trembled in rage now rested quietly in hers. You ever hear from her again? Emily asked softly. Not a word, I said. And I hope it stays that way. And it did. Julia vanished from my life like a deleted contact. I heard whispers through mutual friends, something about her moving cities, a new guy, then no guy, then a job she quit. None of it mattered. It was like watching smoke try to hold its shape. But every now and then, a memory would hit me. Her laugh at the dinner table. The way she used to trace circles on my chest when we watched movies. The night we danced in the kitchen to no music, barefoot and half-drunk. Those flashes hurt, but not because I missed her. Because I realized how much of myself I gave to someone who was only pretending to love me. And that's the part nobody warns you about. It's not the affair. It's not the slap. It's realizing you were real the whole time, and she wasn't. Months turned into a year. I didn't celebrate the anniversary of the divorce. Didn't post cryptic quotes or raise a glass. I just woke up, drank my coffee, kissed Emily on the shoulder, and went for a run. Because that's what healing looks like. It's not fire and revenge. It's peace. And one day, you stop looking back entirely. You stop wondering if she regrets it, if she misses you, if she lies awake at night and thinks about what she threw away. Because the truth? You don't care anymore. And that indifference, that beautiful, earned indifference, is the loudest kind of freedom there is. It happened on a Sunday. Quiet morning, soft light slipping through the curtains. Emily was still asleep beside me, breathing slow, her hand resting on my chest like it belonged there. I lay there for a while, just listening to the calm, no tension, no storm waiting behind the next breath. And that's when I realized I was done. Not just with Julia. With all of it. The pain. The loops in my head. The what-ifs, the rewinds, the pointless scenes I'd replayed 1,000 times trying to figure out where I failed. I hadn't failed. I'd loved. I'd committed. I'd fought like hell to hold something together that was always meant to fall apart. That's not weakness. That's honor. The betrayal didn't define me. The slap didn't break me. Her lies didn't bury me. I had walked through fire, and I didn't just survive. I came out better. Stronger. Wiser. More me than I had ever been before she came into my life pretending to be something she never was. If I had one piece of advice for any man going through what I did, it's this. Don't chase closure from someone who shattered you. They don't have it. They never did. Closure isn't something they give you. It's something you give yourself when you finally see the truth without emotion clouding your view. She betrayed me. She humiliated me. She looked me in the eye and chose someone else, and then tried to rewrite the story like I was the villain in it. But I don't carry her lies anymore. I carry the lessons. And the biggest one? When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. I rolled out of bed, careful not to wake Emily, walked barefoot to the balcony, and took in the morning. It was quiet. Clean. Like the world had finally taken a deep breath with me. And as I stood there, feeling the breeze roll over me, I knew with absolute certainty I'd never go back. Not even in memory. Because that chapter wasn't home anymore. This was.